Welcome, dear listeners. I'm Jonathan Carlin.
And I'm Benjamin Carlin.
And we invite you to join us through the Griffin Door, your one-way ticket to the enchanting world of Harry Potter. So grab your wands and dust off your broomsticks and join us as we unlock the mysteries behind Prisoner of Azkaban, Chapter 17, Cat, Rat, and Dog, live in Seattle. Yeah. Woo! Yes, dude. So excited to be here.
So excited to be here for the Manatee Show.
For the Manatee Show. That's right. Yes.
Yeah. Two shows, 2 chapters, 1 day. This is going to be fun. We're in what I would refer to as the filet mignon of Prisoner of Azkaban.
Of Prisoner of Azkaban, yeah.
As far as the meat is concerned, this is like prime cut.
This is it. We're in the entree course right now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we're done with the appetizers. Like, mysteries are about to be revealed.
Right.
Things are happening.
This chapter, I think, if anything else, is like a testament to why like marriage counseling isn't the worst thing, because good communication is absolutely key, and no one in this chapter will be communicating soundly.
Everyone is like, how vague can I be?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all like, you know what would be great is if the end of this chapter had a really cool reveal. So let's just make sure we don't say anything that we mean.
Right.
The whole chapter.
Right. Yeah. We'll build up to, because in real time, like Lupin and Sirius are showmen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're like thinking about it, like, how would the story be told?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. After the fact. So Sirius is like, I'm going to be super impatient. Lupin's like, I'm going to take forever to get there. Yeah. Ron's leg is going to be hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a good. Ron has a really good chapter.
It's a good chapter for Ron. Yeah. After I don't even know which one it was a few ago, like maybe chapter 14, where Harry and Ron are just they're at like an all-time low.
They are. They're just like, Hermione, what is she up to? We don't like her anymore.
I know. But
how dare she?
She's right about everything.
She's right about everything.
She is.
Pretty much.
And in this chapter as well. So chapter 17, before we dive on in, we got to take a quick look at the chapter art here.
Yeah, we do. Look, we can show you.
I think it's, I know this reminds me of like reading circle when you're a kid.
Everybody see.
It's like, and did everybody get a chance to see in the back there? We need to get like a big magnifying glass of some kind, because there actually is something about this chapter art that I've never spotted before, because if you look really carefully, you can see Ron's legs going into the Whomping Willow, which I think is kind of fun, but I have never noticed Sirius's tail.
I know, it looks like one of the branches.
Yeah. So just like a neat little detail there for the illustrator.
Yeah, I would have loved it if Ron's leg was sticking out at like just a weird angle.
Could you, like just like the Family Guy, like classic, like
yeah, right over there.
But it hasn't broken yet.
Yet.
He's not all the way in the trunk.
Right. He is about to be broken.
Right. Yeah. That's the photo everybody wants of themselves, is the split second before their leg be broke.
Yeah. Right. That'd be such a funny picture, because you could be like, look, I'm smiling in this picture, but like, I kid you not, 5 seconds later, ER.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. A huge dog is about to drag me into a tree.
It's bad news. We thought things were good. That's sort of how the chapter starts.
Right. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So we are coming out of at the end of the last chapter, the unmistakable swishing sound of an axe apparently killing Buckbeak off in the distance.
Hey, we all know that swishing sound.
We all know. I don't have to describe it to you.
You can hear it from miles away. You know when you're out in the backyard.
Swinging an axe.
Yeah.
You know what it sounds like.
Right.
So that's what's happened here, and I love that. Just like the opening third sentence here. It's like, the very last rays of the setting sun were casting a bloody light over the long shadow grounds, and it's like, I love the description of that imagery, because it's like, these are like, it is literally the sun setting on like the last happy moments of Harry's life.
Oh.
You know, like at least until Voldemort is defeated.
It's basically all downhill from here.
It is downhill for a while. Like, he'll sort of date Ginny there. That'll be good.
I was gonna say maybe that's at the core of it the real reason why he doesn't ever get a proper relationship with Cho, because then he would just be like kind of happy. So
right.
it's like okay, we're gonna throw you an obligatory high school failure failed relationship, and it's going to be not very good.
Not going to be good the whole time.
Kind of a bummer.
Yeah, kind of a bummer.
But then right after your bloody sunset, which does sound a little bit as if the narrator of the story is attempting to lead you to believe that there's some other blood going on.
Well, it definitely makes it sound like Buckbeak is dead.
Oh yeah, for real. Yeah,
the sunset is representative of a dying hippogriff.
Right. Yeah. Even this line we have. Then behind them, they heard a wild howling.
Right.
And you're like, oh man, like, because this is supposedly Hagrid.
Yeah.
And the important thing to keep in mind again at this stage in the story too, and how time travel works in the wizarding world, is that everything is exactly how it always was. Hopefully I said that right.
Right. Yeah. Everything happened the way it happened.
Yes. So it's like, this is what happened the first time in exactly the same way. So it's not like he's like, in one scenario, Buckbeak is murdered.
Right.
And in this particular situation, he's not.
Right. So the howling is not actually Hagrid crying like they assume. It's actually Hagrid cheering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's come outside and he's like, you did it, Beaky!
Yeah!
You got away!
Yes. Exactly. But that's not what they think, because you have Ron up here who is paper white, and I love it when you get descriptions of the characters, the whiteness of their skin, like we had Snape and his sour milk skin earlier in this book. Yeah.
And I think Hagrid was the color of parchment.
Parchment, yeah.
And also ruddy. His normally ruddy face, which somebody from like Britain wrote in, and they were like, ruddy means red.
Oh.
And I was like, I would have thought of like ruddy as like, negative or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You're ruddy.
Yeah.
Face.
Sounds like a kind of junky or grimy or something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. This like ruddy old truck I've got out here.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Like you wouldn't think like, oh, what you're saying is like my red old truck outside.
Right. No. Yeah. It'd be like that sort of broken down old truck outside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, and then let's see. We have our bloody sunset, and then I love this line here because it kind of reinforces the same thing, and because like this whole evening is kind of like about the start of Voldemort coming back. So you have by the time they reached open ground, darkness was settling like a spell around them, and like that's literally what's happening. Like Peter's going to escape, and that is the start of Voldemort coming back. So this is like dark magic is settling like a spell around them.
Yeah. No. I mean, and especially going back to like the prediction we have from Trelawney a couple of chapters ago, it's like, like this is supposed to be the evening where, the servant will return to his master.
Yeah.
And so it's like, as of evening, like that is when that's happening. Yeah. So I agree with you completely. Like that's definitely almost like a literal force of magic.
Right.
Dropping from the sky.
Right.
Yeah. And is going to be.
Which not for nothing, but then also the Dementors will do the exact same thing. They're
True.
like forces of darkness coming from the sky.
Do you think
later
that
on.
this darkness spell that they're talking about is why the movies got like really kind of hard to see?
Oh yeah, right. Like it's not us. We keep upping the brightness. It just looks the same.
There's nothing.
Saturation just plummeted.
Yes.
It's gone.
Yeah. It looked like somebody poured a gallon of tea onto Half-Blood Prince by the time we got there.
Oh yeah. You love that tea filter.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So as they're walking along here, Scabbers is just going crazy. The rat is wriggling madly. He eventually bites Ron. Which Ron, gotta say, having read ahead through the next chapter, is a freaking hero here because he is holding on to a creature that is biting and scratching his hands bloody, and he is not letting go.
Yes. No, I know. I mean, it's like how is he successfully gripping onto Scabbers, especially because it's going to take a hot, half hour being dragged through a tree, being confronted by a serial killer, breaking his leg, like before he finally relinquishes Scabbers.
Yeah, I think he's going to lose him for like a second here.
Okay,
and he'll
okay.
recollect him. But yeah, he is going to be holding on to Scabbers all throughout, being dragged through the tree, having a broken leg, defending Harry, hearing the whole story. Yeah, and Scabbers is like not like calming down at all. Which to me, it's like, how is he perceiving Crookshanks? Because that is apparently what he's wriggling about. Like Crookshanks is about to come attack him, and then Sirius as well. So maybe he's just like, if I'm in the open at all, I'm dead.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yes. I don't know if maybe if he's just like, oh gosh, we're back around that Hermione girl, which means that Crookshanks is going to be back.
Exactly.
One way or another, that's exactly what happens.
That is
because
exactly what's happening.
Crookshanks be like, has he flushed out again? I'm here.
I see. What do you even
to worry.
know?
I couldn't find him in Hagrid's hut for the life of me.
Yeah.
But as soon as he's in open ground, I got this.
I got this.
Heat vision.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically. So Crookshanks emerges from the shadows, and then I love the line where it just says, "Crookshanks," Hermione moaned. "No, go away," because it's like you can just hear the desperation in Hermione's voice when she sees the cat. Like, no, oh no, oh no.
This is
like
terrible
you were
timing.
Like I was just absolved of this exact crime for like 5 minutes.
Right.
Do not come prove me wrong right now, Crookshanks. We are on good terms right now.
We almost had it. We
Yeah.
almost have it. Yep. But no, that's not what happens. And instead, Crookshanks comes closer. And this, Scabbers does slip between Ron's clutching fingers, hits the ground, and scampers away in 1 pound.
And then, but this is where Ron throws off the invisibility cloak and just pelts away into the darkness. Like, I am surprised he still cares so much about the rat.
At this point, I've given up.
I know.
I hope that doesn't take away my pet owner card, or
Yeah.
anything. But at this point, I think I'm like, okay, me and you, this is not working out. Clearly,
Right,
we are going our literal separate ways.
Right, yeah, because clearly at this point, Crookshanks didn't eat him, so clearly he ran away, and now he's bitten you, and it's like, you kind of already mourned him?
Right.
Why do you still care?
You were sort of over it.
You were sort of over it. I guess it's a good thing he cares, because he does catch up to him and catch him again. Let's see.
The line though that again in the same exact vein is he's like, "Gotcha! Get off, you stinking cat!"
Yeah.
And it's like, Ron, just feed Scabbers to Crookshanks.
Just let him have it.
Think
You know
about
what?
think about how much trouble we could have saved.
Yeah.
If that had just been what happened.
I gotta say though, this is some solid keeper foreshadowing for Ron.
Good point.
Look at, I don't know if you put a mouse in front of me and we're like, hey, you want to race this cat to that mouse? I'd be like, I could try, but
bet.
Let's go.
Game on.
Game on. Ron's taking that bet and he wins. He gets there before the cat. Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
This should have been the moment where Harry's like, "We gotta get you on the team next year."
Right. Yeah, he should have brought. Where is he bringing this up with McLagan's Strauss? He's like, Ron, you caught Scabbers in the dark running from a cat, man.
Right.
You're
yeah.
gonna be fine.
We know you can block a bright red ball.
Yeah, right. In daylight. Come on now. Let's see. So Ron gets Scabbers back, and then we hear the soft pounding of gigantic paws. Something's bounding towards them out of the dark. The enormous, pale-eyed, jet black dog. And here we go.
Sirius
is on the scene.
It is underway.
Yeah.
And it's kind of actually amazing for Sirius here, who's normally, speaking of dexterity, is usually quite nimble in dog form, but his front paws does hit Harry in the chest, basically knocking him clean over to the point where Harry rolls him off and says, feeling as though his ribs were broken.
No.
So Sirius basically form tackled, linebacker style, Harry
right into Harry.
out in the open.
Yeah, he's knocked him down. I guess he's just because he sees he has the wand. It's surprising that he hits Harry at all. But then, let's see, I love the line here, too, where it says, Ron was on his feet. As the dog sprang back towards him, he pushed Harry aside. The dog's jaws fastened instead around Ron's outstretched arm. Because at this point, from their point of view, I guess Harry thinks the dog is after him because they keep seeing the Grim.
Right.
So
yes, that's almost one of the calibrations you have to bring back to the surface, is that the first time you're reading this story, you would absolutely believe that Harry's the intended target.
Right.
Sometimes I think I'm so deep in the weeds at this point that I'm like he's obviously not going for Harry here.
Right.
I know what he's doing. I know what his motivations are.
Right. So it says instead around Ron as if it's a mistake, but it's obviously not a mistake at all. His intended target is, Peter, but so that's why he needs Ron, because that's who's holding Peter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Then you get an idea of just how powerful Sirius is in his dog form, because he's able to drag Ron away as if he were a rag doll.
Right. Yeah. He's not going to be a light person.
Right.
Just dragging around, no problem. problem at all.
And then just when you think things couldn't get worse, after, rat bites and dog attacks and everything else, they discover that they have found themselves right underneath the Whomping Willow.
Right underneath the Whomping Willow. Yeah.
Friendliest of trees.
Friendliest of trees.
Yeah.
It's a nice guy.
Yeah, it's like high five, except instead of 5, it means face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how the tree is just like, it's really it is equal opportunity. Don't come near me. I will hit you.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It has no friends.
No friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not at all. Although, that being said, Sirius has, it said, there at the base of the trunk was the dog dragging Ron. It's like, how did Sirius just manage to drag Ron through? No problem.
Maybe they were just getting thwacked the whole way through. So
I guess so.
Real insult to injury moment going on here, because the next moment is a horrible crack. Cut the air like a gunshot because Ron's leg had been broken.
Ugh, I hate that imagery. It's like, I think for a long time I thought it said his ankle had broken, but it is definitely his leg. It's such a harder break.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Ugh.
Like you don't broken legs don't come easy. You know? Yeah. You got to work for it.
You got to work for it.
Yeah.
That's also how strong that Sirius is. He's just like, yeah, whatever.
Right. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. Breaking him through there. That's terrible.
Where's Gilderoy when you need him?
I know. Yeah, you could have gotten rid of those bones.
Just a nice little floppy glove leg.
I gotta tell you, it is impressive for Ron's pain tolerance for this next chapter, though. For the next couple pages.
He has adrenaline pumping through him.
He does.
Something fierce.
Yeah.
But let's see here. So then Harry and Hermione basically reason out that if the dog can get into the trunk, then why not us?
Optimistic.
Yes.
Optimistic.
Yeah.
They cannot, actually. This leads to gotta be maybe the cheesiest scene in the movies ever.
It truly is.
Yeah.
They are playing jump rope with the Whomping Willow.
Yeah.
I think that there's a scene where they're both standing and they both jump it together.
Yes.
And then I think Harry and Hermione are hanging on to the branch. It kind of whips around kind of 3D style.
Yeah.
It's like
Hermione looks to camera.
Yeah. And then at some point they successly release at exactly the right moment to fire themselves into the hole.
Just straight into the hole. And then there's this Harry is standing there, Hermione comes whipping by, grabs his shirt this way, yanks him back this way.
Yes.
And then I'm to believe Emma Watson is holding Harry's whole body weight with one arm.
She's strong.
She's strong.
She doesn't
look it.
Powerful. Yes.
People say that about her all the time.
And
Yes.
Yes,
Think how bad
true,
Draco.
true.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
smack.
poor Draco.
Poor Tom Felton, man.
Right.
Yeah, someone right in the face.
Yep. But fortunately, the book handles this situation quite a bit better, and Crookshanks is able to creep forward and place his paws on the knot of the trunk. And abruptly, the tree goes still as marble.
I know, man. If you were Harry and Hermione, Crookshanks' behavior must just seem bonkers at this point.
Yes.
Whose side are you on?
Yeah. What class did we miss?
I know, right? What are you? You're attacking the rat, but now you're helping us. How do you know about the tree? Where'd you come from the woods?
We have so many questions.
Yeah.
Crookshanks. If Crookshanks could talk,
Yeah, right.
Like-
Apparently, you could talk to Sirius.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that. So this is kind of the question that they're asking. They're like, how did he know? And Harry's like, he's friends with that dog. Harry said grimly.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so on the nose.
It is. It's a little bit like, I see because he's a grim.
The dog that we thought was the Grim.
Yeah.
I get it. That's clever. That's
Yes.
clever.
But either way, Crookshanks pauses the tree for them so they can crawl in through the secret passage. It says, Harry went next. He crawled forward, head first.
Look,
Why?
whenever entering subterranean unknown environments, head first.
Right?
Yes.
Why land on your feet when you could land on your head?
Yes.
Yeah, so anyway, I guess it works out. He doesn't break his neck or something.
Yeah, he ends up being fun. That would be another interesting twist to the end of the story, is that it's there's all this stuff about Voldemort. Harry just breaks his neck falling into the tree.
Going into the tree.
Darn it!
Oh, man. Whoops.
Dumbledore's there
so
goes
then
that whole plan.
Yeah, so they start wondering. They start wondering, where does this passage go? Harry says, I don't know. It's marked on the Marauders map. But Fred and George said no one's ever gotten into it, which is just good setup from earlier when Fred and George are apparently just showing them how to get to Hogsmeade, and you don't think about it that much. And they're like, oh, yeah, the Whomping Willow's over this one. Wouldn't worry about that.
Right,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah,
But
so-
it is good that it's like been brought up before now, so you're kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But it's also surprising that like they actually don't know about this, like because on the Marauders map, if you go near the one-eyed witch, like it says like tap it, you know.
Maybe the issue is that you have to get so close to the trunk of the tree that you're already being like walloped.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So it's like you can't get that close.
guess so,
But maybe if you did. But the thing I do think it's important because it comes up later is just the fact that it does also set up right now for later that it just goes off the edge of the map. So it means that you can see things that are going on up until this particular moment.
Yeah.
Which I do think is going to end up being like a kind of interesting. This is like a thinker, and I was asking you a little bit, you know, backstage before we came out, what your thoughts on it are, and I won't apply it as if this is like a fact, but maybe something for us to consider as we go forward is the possibility that Dumbledore himself has also crafted his own version of the Marauders map.
It almost seems crazy that like it feels like why wouldn't he have? You know, like it
yes,
seems like maps of Hogwarts would just be like a handy thing to have since it's so big and changing.
It does, and I know we're jumping back a little bit here, but it reminds me so much of like Christmas in Year One when he like gifts the invisibility cloak, and then he like happens to figure out like where Harry is. But like if he had gifted the cloak and then like watched Harry over like the next couple of nights to see like what he did with it, then it would like be plenty explanation. But also as we scoot forward, the reason I bring it up and what I want to keep an eye out for as we move forward is just that Dumbledore comes around on the innocence of Sirius Black in a way that I feel like is almost putting a tremendous amount of faith in the testimony of the kids.
Yeah. I
Like, even
guess
he himself says like, this doesn't look good for Sirius.
Yeah, I mean he's talked to Sirius and then he's talking to Harry and Hermione, and he's like, yeah, his version doesn't look great. Snape's makes more sense, and he hasn't acted innocent.
Right. But if he also saw Peter Pettigrew on the map, then it's like he would know, like, I have a map that proves Peter was there.
Right.
We don't have Peter to prove my claim. However, like the map never lies.
Right.
You know. So anyway, that's sort of like an aside, like a little like sub theory to keep an eye on as we go
Right, yeah.
forward.
Does Dumbledore have his own map?
Yeah,
Just never
yeah.
tells anybody about.
The Marauders also wouldn't want people getting to Lupin when he's in the Shrieking Shack. So not having the knot on the map makes sense.
Oh, that's a
That's
good
true.
point. So basically the idea is that the Marauders would know, and actually it'll even come up in this chapter as kind of like a case in point, but you don't want people, if somebody else found the Marauders map, you don't want them finding it, accessing the Whomping Willow, because then if you ended up doing that, you may end up accidentally encountering Lupin in werewolf form.
Which is the exact prank they pull on Snape.
Which is the exact, that they do this exact thing.
This exact thing, yeah.
So maybe if they made a special map just for Snape that had nothing but like a dotted line to the Whomping Willow, touch the knot.
Touch the knot, yeah. Whoops. It does seem like I always like to think that the map is specifically programmed for Snape, for the insulting part.
Yes, yes,
that it's not just, and it wouldn't just insult anybody, but it knows that it's Snape.
And it's like, okay, we got these. And it would be fun if they had like, they were each like, okay, guys, the assignment for this weekend, write 50 insults in case he finds it 50 times.
Yeah, right. We got a whole list of things.
We got a bundle.
Yeah. He can find this over and over. Yeah, but either way, Harry and Hermione go down the secret passageway, and they say it felt at least as long as the one to Honeyduke's, which, if you remember from earlier chapters, is like a 50-minute walk.
It's too far.
It's too far.
Yeah.
Like, and then remember again, Ron is being dragged by a dog with a broken leg and a squirming rat in his hands.
Yes.
Who does not want to be there.
That is the picture.
This is what's happening. This is Ron. Like, we're not giving Ron enough credit for enduring this pain.
Maybe he should be a seeker.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's clutching
He is
onto that
clutching
thing.
it.
You know.
Then he gets, even when they get to the Shrieking Shack, he takes him upstairs with the broken leg.
Upstairs.
Up the steps. I'm like, no, just come on, man.
How badly is Ron's leg broken?
I know.
And how many times is it broken?
I know. Gosh. It is.
Yeah,
That is.
Madame Pomfrey sees it and she's like, oh, jeez.
Jeez. Maybe we should call Gilderoy.
Yeah. Just start fresh.
Just start over. We're just get a brand new leg in here.
Yeah.
Let's see. So anyway, they get to the Shrieking Shack. They get in there. I love the description too. It says paper was peeling from the walls, which I love the idea that like Dumbledore building the shack is like, let's decorate it. You want some wallpaper in here?
Right.
Yeah.
There was like a day where he was just like going through magazines, being like, oh yes,
Paisley.
lilac.
Yeah. Lockhart has been too present in this chapter.
I know. Where did Lockhart come from?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So I love the idea that they decorated the Shrieking Shack. That's super fun. And then we get to see that all the furniture is broken, as though somebody had smashed it. That somebody is obviously Lupin.
Yes,
we'll learn
indeed.
about in the next chapter. Yeah, or Dumbledore. Yeah, the only other person.
Dumbledore's going like blowing off some steam.
He's got like a rage room. Yeah, who said that? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got There's all sorts of examples, but one in particular that I feel like the book zeroes in on. It says Harry looked around. His eyes fell on a wooden chair near them. Large chunks had been torn out of it. One of the legs had been ripped off entirely. That's the Dumbledore one.
Yeah.
He just got in there one day and he was like, "That's it.
That's it.
I'm breaking it.
I am mad."
Ghosts didn't do that," he said slowly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What was your thought?
What about the piano? Why did they put a piano in there?
Oh, is that a movie?
I think it's a
piano
movie.
in the movie, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that was there specifically so that they could have Wormtail run across it.
Yeah.
and have it
Make
like
those like sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they mentioned a piano in the book. Maybe it's there.
Could you imagine though if like that was like what he was doing in like his werewolf days was just
like,
taking up the piano?
Lupin the musical werewolf. That'd be great.
Yes. I would go to that dueling piano bar in a heartbeat.
Dude, I would go like that should have been the Harry Potter stage show, is just Lupin the werewolf the musical.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They never say there's not a piano in there.
That's true.
You know what?
We can only assume.
That's a good point. We can canonically add it right now.
Right?
This is the moment. Good
Here
call.
we go.
Good call.
There we go. So there was a piano.
There was a piano.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Lightly
looks well
scratched.
played.
Yeah. well played. Worn in.
It looked worn in.
Yeah. Although, all those like fangy fingers, it feels like would
Right.
be like, really like putting some divots in
I
the
would love
ivory.
the optimism of Dumbledore that, like, music is a magic greater than all things. He needs a piano, Like, this will
Lupin's
help.
like, no, what I need is friends.
Yeah.
Friends, Dumbledore.
Friends, Dumbledore. There we go. Let's see. Either way, everything else is covered in a thick layer of dust except the floor, where a wide shiny stripe has been made by someone dragging a broken-legged kid up the stairs.
They reached the dark landing. Knox, they whispered together to turn off Lumos. And this is just kind of fun because I feel like this is such a well-known spell. This is the first usage of it in the
Nox?
entire series.
Oh, nice.
It's the first time we've heard Knox.
Yeah. Nox also, this is like another weird one where it's like Nox is not the spell to like turn off lights. It is a spell to turn off Lumos.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it's like, this is like where, like when you see Dumbledore use the put outer, it's like, why don't you just use Nox? And it's like, because you can't do that. There's not a spell to put out the lights.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It's like an oddly unique brand of magic. And
Right.
this kind of like, again, detours just a little bit, but it's one of our Fantastic Beasts theories because like Fantastic Beasts revolves very heavily around the idea of the Obscurus. And while we're seeing the Obscurus like terror through New York City, it also happens to turn off the lights.
Yes.
And we know that Dumbledore has a special relationship with Obscurus because Ariana, his younger sister, was one.
Right. And
so,
he has the Deluminator, which is of his own creation, possibly unique.
yes.
Yeah.
So
And it too can turn out the lights.
Right. So
Coincidence?
is it like a little piece of
Yeah.
the Obscurus?
In there, sucking up light, transporting Ron around to convenient locations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of makes me think on what they did before Nox was created. Was it just that they used it and then they just couldn't?
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah. What came first, Lumos or Nox?
Yeah, right.
Because if it was Lumos,
Yeah.
a bunch of people are having to like. It's like when you put your phone in your pocket with like
Oh,
the
yeah.
flashlight still on.
Right.
You know?
It's like this is just all the time.
just that. Yeah. It's like, oh man, we really got to work on this one.
yeah. Nox.
Nox.
we
Oh
go.
man.
And then
Okay.
I also love how they go up the stairs to try and find where Ron is. And I love how Harry enters the room, wand held tightly before him. Harry kicked the door wide open like he's like on like the SWAT team or something.
Yes. Yeah.
Police! Auras!
Wizard.
A magnificent 4-poster bed.
Yes.
Dumbledore was having fun shopping for this
He
place.
was.
He was
He
like,
was.
I have an idea. Why don't we build a house? Like, what? We could decorate it with wallpaper.
Dumbledore, really?
Dumbledore, come on.
Do we need all this? A 4-poster bed, a big one,
A piano.
It's honestly kind of lavish.
Yeah, nice place. There we go. But this is where we get the reveal from Ron, where they say, "Where's the dog?" "Not a dog." Ron moaned, his teeth gritted with pain. "I bet." "Harry, it's a trap. He's a dog. He's an animagus." Oh man, this is like good. This to me, this line. So when we were kids, our dad obviously read us the books. We've talked
Yes.
about it a lot. But this chapter in particular, when we got to this one, was I think where I was like, I can't wait anymore. I can't wait till next weekend. So I just went and took the book and just read the ending. But this was the first chapter I just read by myself. So like reading this line, it like always transports me like back to our childhood home. Like, what?
That's the moment when Harry Potter became yours.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like it's not. It wasn't just story time anymore.
Right, it was
Now
like-
it's like, okay, no,
Right,
I
I
need
gotta
to
take it into
know.
my own hands. I need to know what happens.
Yep.
I don't. Yeah,
Pretend to be surprised next time.
I did. I think Dad knew. He was like, "That's fine. Just don't tell your brothers." You know? I'm telling you now.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Now, this was the moment.
This is the moment.
Maybe
right
we
here.
need couples counseling.
I don't deny it. And there it was. It was Sirius Black. Boom. Who then uses Expelliarmus, which is of course like Harry's big move. So like retroactively, this is sort of like a little hint that he's not such a bad guy, that he uses like Expelliarmus, like the disarming spell, instead of just like hurting them. Because obviously, if he wanted to murder them, he could just do it.
Yes,
Right here.
yes. And this is actually where I do think that the writing is quite clever, because I think it can be it's like walking a tightrope of intention.
Yeah.
You know, so especially like whenever we listen with Jim Dale, he's giving Sirius like such like a raspy kind of like intense sounding voice, like the "I thought you'd come and help your friend," and I mean, like, you know, that's a line that could mean a multitude of things. But obviously, once you know Sirius a lot better, it's sort of like I thought you would help your friend because that is what your father would have also done.
Yeah, like everything he says has to be interpreted poorly by Harry, but makes sense in retrospect.
Right, because
Yeah.
again, what you're supposed to think here is like, I dragged your best friend away, and I thought that would be a really good fishing lure for you.
Right.
And
like,
look,
I knew your father so well I could trap him. Yeah,
yes,
kind of
yes,
thing. It's
you
like,
took the bait.
Yes, yeah. So Harry thinks he's being taunted. He's not. He's actually complimenting him,
Yes.
saying that he's just like his dad, who was his best friend. So there's that. But it's not having that intended effect on Harry, because a boiling hate erupted in Harry's chest right here. And this is like such a moment for Harry. So for the first time in his life, he wanted his wand back in his hand, not to defend himself, but to attack, to kill. So this is like as dark as Harry ever gets. And it's like angrier. He is angry at Sirius here than I think he ever is at like Voldemort even.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, right, because, and I think like the relationship between Harry, what he knows, and in this situation with Sirius, it's like, you betrayed my parents. My life has been what it is because of the actions that you made. Like, he hates him for that. Whereas like Voldemort, Harry stands like in opposition to.
Right. Like,
you know,
he's like a big evil force.
Right.
And like Voldemort attacking Harry's parents is not, it's like there's nothing like necessarily personal about it. It's just like Harry is just like an obstacle in his way.
Right. And I think that it probably ultimately goes to show realistically, both with Harry and the Marauders, and of course Ron and Hermione as well, is just how much friendship is valued by all of the key characters
Right.
in this story.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then when it comes to Sirius, it's extremely personal. It's like,
Yes.
well, Voldemort never even could have done it. Like,
Right.
you were their best friend and you betrayed them, and now I want to kill you.
Right.
But so, and then speaking of the power of friendship or whatever, Ron in his horrible tattered state says, "If you want to kill Harry, you'll have to kill us too." Which, this is one of those lines just like I highlighted. I was like, heck yeah, Ron.
I
But
know.
This is one, like, in the movie they just give that line to Hermione for no reason.
I know, yeah. Like, this is one that's kind of vital to Ron here, especially as Ron is kind of representing the Sirius of the group.
Yeah.
Like he is like the like perennial best friend.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to imagine that inside of this moment, like Sirius is looking into the eyes of himself. You know, like with Ron saying that. He's going to say the same sentence in the next few pages anyway.
Yeah.
Like that he would have died for his friends.
Yeah, pretty much. So then you have like this moment where he says, "Lie down. You'll damage that leg even more." And that's another like clue to the real Sirius.
Right,
Like he
yes.
like honestly doesn't want Ron to hurt his leg more.
Right.
And then Harry, what does he say? "Did you hear me?" Ron said, "You'll have to kill all three of us." And now this is where Sirius starts to be exceptionally vague.
Choose your words better.
Yeah. His response is, "There'll only be one murder here tonight." Like, dude, I think what you meant to say was, "That rat is a man."
Let me explain.
Let me explain. I don't, or maybe just like, "I don't want to kill any of you."
Right.
That would have been good too. That would have been
yes.
good too. Instead of actually, "I am going to kill someone." You're right.
Yes,
You're
yes.
right. Yeah.
I know you guys are terrified. I am here to kill.
Yes. Right. You think I'm here? Oh, you think I'm here to kill? I'm not here to kill all three of you. I'm here to kill one person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't happen to realize that there's
you
another
don't
person
know is
here.
in the room.
Right,
So
right.
I don't know why you didn't get that. Anyway, it's not going to be his last time doing this either.
Nope.
Oh boy. And so let's see. Harry, of course, thinks he's talking just still about killing himself. Didn't care last time, did you? Didn't mind slaughtering all those muggles to get at Pettigrew. And this is just like using the name Pettigrew here is just like good refresher for the reader because Peter's name I think has only been mentioned twice so far.
Yes.
So like you're about to get a big reveal that Scabbers is Pettigrew, and it's not going to land that good if you've forgotten his name. So,
Right.
Yeah.
He's kind of been forgettable.
He has been kind of forgettable.
Which
yeah.
honestly, at my core, that's sort of where I want Peter to be.
I agree.
Forgettable.
Yeah, forgettable. Yeah.
But then we do have one of these moments, and I thought this was really kind of hilarious because Harry's obviously feeling very baited by Sirius in this moment. He's like, "You killed my mom and dad." And a few chapters back, when we were talking about how Harry and Ron were just being just truly awful 13-year-olds, we got a really great message from somebody on our Patreon that was like, I love how in so many different instances there's well-crafted like reasons and theories and research that goes into explaining away the plot holes, and then other times it's they were 13.
Right. Yeah.
And in this exact moment, Harry is falling into that exact same thing. It says he had forgotten about magic. He had forgotten that he was a short and skinny 13-year-old, whereas Black was a full-grown man.
Right. Yeah. So he just like tackles him
He does. Yes.
yeah.
He punches him in the face.
in the face. He just rears back.
Yeah.
Punches him with right with his hand there. And then it says perhaps it was the shock of Harry doing something so stupid, but Black didn't raise the wands in time. And it's like I think that's of course Harry's interpretation of things, but really it's just like I don't think Sirius wants to hurt Harry. So he's like, "Oh, well, what do I do?" Yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't think Sirius wants to hurt Harry. I don't think Sirius would hurt Harry. And I think probably on some level Sirius believes he deserves to be punched in the face.
Also that, yes. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he's like, "Yeah, I did basically kill them." So there we go.
Choose your words.
Choose your words. Yeah, dude. Yeah, seriously. Then you have, let's see. So yeah, seriously, indeed.
Seriously.
So all three of them are sort of like they just turn into a big scrum here. You have Hermione's foot swing out of nowhere. Hermione's dishing out all sorts of Muggle violence in this book. You know what I mean? She's punching people, or she's kicking people. You know,
Who knew?
that strength. You know.
Yes.
Powerful. Yeah. There we go. And then we have Ron had thrown himself on Black's wand, handed Harry's heart, and Harry heard a faint clatter. So like Ron is joining the scrum with his broken leg. Like round of applause for Ron. Like,
Yeah,
dude.
and he's yes.
Yeah,
Round of
right?
applause for Ron. There we go.
Gosh.
And someone in the audience said it. And the rat.
Yeah.
Is he still clutching
He's still
it?
holding the rat.
Yeah. So we have a one leg broken Ron Weasley here,
Yeah.
who's been dragged up a flight of stairs, holding a rat, tackling a grown man.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Doing it.
At a boy.
He's fighting his brothers. He's probably fine.
That's it. That's
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so anyway, all of this ends in Harry holding Sirius at wand point, where he says, "Going to kill me, Harry?" And this immediately starts reminding me of the Draco and Dumbledore scene from several books later.
Yes.
'Cause it's almost the same scene where it's like, here's what Harry has been thinking about all year. The moment is here. He's got Sirius at wand point. He wants to do it. He's been thinking about doing it. And like, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do?
I know it's kind of unbelievable. Like, I almost want to go and compare the text side by side for these two situations because we've got his voice is shaking slightly, but his wand hand was quite steady.
Yep.
You killed my parents, said Harry.
Sirius says, "I don't deny it, dude."
It's like, I didn't think I'd get this far.
Don't deny. Sirius. But if you knew the whole story, like, yeah, maybe you should tell the whole story, dude. Gosh, yeah, and
Yes.
fast.
Yeah, like
Yes.
right now, immediately.
Yeah, so that's basically what he's saying. You've got to listen to me. You'll regret it if you don't. Then Harry, this is just a terrible line for him. It's like, you never heard her, did you? My mom trying to stop Voldemort killing me, and you did that. You did it. And it's just like, that hurts.
That does hurt,
That hurts.
especially for Sirius, who loved Lily and James.
Yeah.
So even having to hear Harry say to him, like, I had to hear my mom through time,
Right. It's
because of what you did,
Right.
And it's like, it's terrible. Like, if you're Sirius in this moment, like, this is crushing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all of this, like, Hermione is like having a dry sob off in the corner as well.
She's just recharging.
Yeah, she kicked a little too hard. Ugh. Let's see. So then Crookshanks jumps on Sirius's chest to try and protect him. Harry's like, well, so what if I have to kill the cat too? You know? I'll do it.
I'll
He's a
I'll
dog
do it.
person. Yeah. He's an owl person, you know.
I was gonna say he's a dog person, but the other person he wants to kill is a dog.
I know. Yeah, so maybe not.
And it's his cat.
And it's his
it could
cat.
be his cat.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. If Black wanted to save it, that only proved to care more for Crookshanks than for Harry's parents, who belong to his parents. Yeah. Yeah. So then, he's like trying to psych himself up for it. He's going to kill Black. He had to kill Black. This was his chance. And then this line, too, also reminds me of Draco and Dumbledore. Like, the seconds lengthened, and still Harry stood frozen there. Wand poised, Black staring at him, Crookshanks on his chest. And it's like, this is exactly what happens. Like, Draco has, like, several long seconds where, like, this is it.
Right.
Do it. But he doesn't.
And interestingly, like, the scene ends up kind of going the same way, which is that, like, for Draco, the Death Eaters storm on scene and Snape basically steps in. And in this instance, Harry's just frozen there, and then Lupin steps in on scene.
And then Snape.
And then Snape. Yeah.
Although Snape, ironically, I think would have much happier killed Sirius instead of Dumbledore.
I would agree with
Yeah.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
Seems like he's pretty much down for that one.
Yes, but so we hear, so he's got him at one point, and then they hear the door open downstairs. Hermione screams out, "We're up here!" And then, well, I didn't notice this until this read through, because like Harry realizes that whoever just arrived is going to stop him from doing whatever he wants to do. It says Harry gripped his wand convulsively, and it says, "Do it now," said a voice in his head, and I'm like, is that the Horcrux? Like, is that the voice in his head?
It has to be.
I think it is. I think that's like the little, because this is as angry, I think, as Harry is ever going to get. This is like the closest to the dark side he ever gets. And like, despite having the Horcrux inside him, it like never affects him ever. But like in this one moment where he desperately wants to kill somebody, like it can get like a whisper up.
Yes.
Like, do it.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, this is almost what you have to imagine is going through Ron's head when he's wearing like the Horcrux locket later on in Deathly Hallows. Like where it's just like, it's all those things that like it says to him, like when Voldemort comes out of the locket and tries to be like, Hermione likes him better, your mother likes him better, all that type of stuff. It's like, you have to imagine those are the little voices like that were constantly like pegging Ron in the back of the mind.
Yeah.
So I do think, for what it's worth, that this is the Horcrux.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what's kind of getting through there.
The voice being described as a voice and not just as his thoughts
Yeah.
separates it.
Right.
I agree. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. The voice being described as a voice and not just Harry thinking.
Right.
It feels like it's definitely like changing something.
Right.
Said a voice.
A
in
voice.
His head.
No one read this in their first pass and was like, "What voice was that?"
Yeah. Who could that be?
Hmm.
Because we don't know that information yet.
Yeah, we don't know that information yet. So anyway, Lupin indeed arrives upstairs. He also shouts Expelliarmus, which more Harry signature spells going on here. Which I guess it's not really a signature spell until Goblet, but we'll get there. And then, Harry stood there feeling suddenly empty. He hadn't done it, which, like, ultimately, good call.
Yes.
Good call. Good instincts, as usual.
Right. Like it says, and that's exactly what I wrote. I actually love that you said that. Yeah, it said his nerves had failed him, and I said, no, his instincts just won out.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, that. Exactly. Then Lupin starts talking and says, "Where is he, Sirius?" And it's like, I'm sorry. This is more, now Lupin's turn to be super vague. It's like, where is he, Sirius? Why don't you just say, "Where's Peter?" Like, where's Peter Pettigrew? Where's the rat? Where's anything, not just this vague he. Because I'm sure also if you're Harry and Ron, the other he's in the room, you're like, what do you mean? We're like right here, bro.
Present.
Yeah. 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 Who was Lupin talking about? Who indeed, you guys? Who indeed? So Black raises, he says, face expressionless, slowly raised his empty hand and pointed straight at Ron.
Is there any was there any point where you were supposed to think in this moment that Ron was quietly and secretly a traitor?
Yeah, right.
For like one sentence, it's like, oh man,
What?
that's not good.
Yeah.
It's like,
How? That doesn't even make sense.
right.
Yeah.
But it basically, it seems like almost immediately, like it says, Harry glanced around at Ron, who looked bewildered.
Yeah. Me? But then this is a pretty cool sentence too. It says, so this is Lupin talking. He says, why hasn't he showed himself before now? Again, not saying Peter. Unless Lupin's eyes suddenly widened as though he was seeing something beyond Black, something none of the rest of you could see. Unless he was the one. Unless you switched without telling me. So this moment is when Lupin realizes that Peter and Sirius switched places as the secret keeper, which means that he arrived at the Shrieking Shack without quite realizing this yet.
Yeah, no, yeah. I know. I think this is one of those rare situations where it's like if you can change one piece of knowledge, like take anything that you believe to be like absolute fact and then like change one detail about it, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Right.
Like that I think in Lupin's mind, this whole situation is clicking together so quickly.
Well, because to him, there's none of it makes sense.
Right. It's like Peter
like,
Pettigrew can't be here. He's
Peter
dead.
Pettigrew, I don't think the original situation made sense. It's just like Sirius turned on James. I think for 13 or whatever 12 years he's been struggling with that doesn't make sense.
Like he would never do that.
He just wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
How could it be true? It's it must be because it is, but it isn't, and it isn't. So.
Yep. Yeah. And so sure enough, basically, and it's nice that it's written this way as well, because Lupin is basically saying he's coming to the conclusion that Sirius can then verify versus a situation where Sirius is like, we switched Lupin, and it'd be like, oh, because then you have to believe Sirius. But in this case, Lupin is getting there on his own, which I think is better.
It is better because then he pulls him up and embraced Black like a brother. So which I just love. It's the immediate forgiveness. He's just like, oh no, we made a mistake.
And with Lupin, a big mistake.
And he's you can see him his brain can't possibly fathom all of the suffering Sirius has had to do, but it's 12 years. Oh my God.
I mean, but then also think about it from Lupin's perspective, because he's a werewolf. He doesn't have it's not easy for Lupin to go out and make friends in the wizarding world.
Yeah.
We've seen the prejudice from Ron even.
Yeah.
And it's for him, Lupin is getting a true friend back for the first time in 12 years too.
Yeah.
This is the first time he's had a friend since all three of them were lost in the same day.
Yeah. Oh, for Lupin, that was because you're right. James died, Peter apparently died, and Sirius got sent to Azkaban Apparently for having killed the other two.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's like, you know,
jeez.
it's a big moment.
Yeah. Bad day for him.
But yeah, speaking of big moments for Lupin, another one's about to come down the pipes because Hermione has figured out something rather important about Lupin.
Yes. She says, I trusted you, and all this time you've been his friend. And it's like, I haven't been Sirius's friend, but I am now. Let me explain. And Hermione's not having it anymore. She like totally outs him. He's a werewolf, which this is like rare prejudice by Hermione. That like, oh, he's a werewolf, that means he's bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Like she's definitely like sorted him into a column incorrectly.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. And actually, I said Ron's prejudice, but we're about to see it now. Actually, is when it's about to happen. But basically, Hermione does believe that Lupin also wants Harry dead, and that he's been helping Black get into the castle. And I love that, like the line, like where like Lupin immediately kind of goes back, and he does this several times throughout the rest of the scene into like that teacher like position.
Yeah.
He's like, only 1 out of 3, I'm afraid, not up to your usual standards.
Yeah. Just very patient and like, oh, okay, let me turn this into a lesson.
Right.
But it won't deny that he's a werewolf. And then Ron immediately is just like, get away from me, werewolf. So it's like both of them, Ron and Hermione, a little bit of werewolf prejudice right there. Yep. But then Hermione realized, or, you know, Lupin's trying to figure out, how'd you figure it out? And he says, because of Professor Snape's essay. And he's like, yeah, that's pretty much why he did that. Yep,
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He assigned that essay hoping somebody would realize what my symptoms meant.
Yep.
Which does bring me back to my little, like, you know, like the slight that he throws back at Snape with the vampire essay. Whether or not he truly believes Snape to be a vampire, I love the thought that he was like,
there's enough evidence.
yeah.
I'll let them draw their own conclusions.
People will see what they want to see.
Because you know what? He didn't test them on vampires in the final exam.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's up with that
Why
one?
was there a vampire essay? Yeah.
We're not ready for vampires.
We're not ready for vampires. Yeah, God.
Oh, man. We do get the great compliment from Lupin, and it's a good one to come from Lupin, but you are the cleverest witch of your age I've ever met, Hermione. Which is high praise coming from Lupin.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see. But then he reveals that, like, yeah, everyone already knows, or the staff do. And then Ron is another bad take from Ron, who says, Dumbledore hired you when he knew you were a werewolf? Is he mad? Which, I mean,
some of the staff thought so, a.k.a. Snape.
Yeah.
One person,
yes, he was really, really against it. But then Dumbledore was like, actually, yes, and I need you to do some complicated work for him.
Yes, indeed.
Every month.
You're going to be happy about this, right?
You're going to be happy about
this will go well? Yeah.
Don't mess it up. You'll be fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doubles down, though. I have not been helping Sirius. If you give me a chance, I'll explain. It's like, yes, get there quickly. He does separate Harry, Ron's, and Hermione's wands and throw them back to them, and then he puts his away, and he says, you're armed, we're not. Now will you listen?
Here we go.
I think it's a good. That's good. Like damage
Good
control.
move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to like simmer people down a little
Right?
bit.
Yeah. It's like, okay. Yeah. So how do we know he was here? The map. It was in my office examining it. Like, I love this reveal too. This is all so fun. Just like, of course I know how to work it, said Lupin. I helped write it. I'm Mooney. That was my friend's nickname for me at school. Like, I love that. Like, they all. I don't know. I just love this little bit here that he's revealing that, I helped write it. Like earlier in the book, he's like, we've met.
We've met.
Yeah.
I'm them.
I'm them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's exactly what it reminds me of, is when he's doing the werewolf assignment for his OWLs. He's sitting in my chair.
Yeah, right. There it is. Let's see. Okay, I guess he was staring at it. This is maybe like he says he was looking at the map because he thought Harry, Ron, and Hermione might try to sneak out of the castle to visit Hagrid, and they did. To which I'm like, but you didn't do anything about it.
I know.
It's like, I wonder if Harry, Ron, and Hermione will do anything. Oh, they are.
Oh, they are indeed.
Well, let's see what happens. Holy
Danger!
crap, is that Peter Pettigrew?
Yeah.
I gotta go.
I got places to be.
I gotta do some things.
Oh man. But yep. So then we do explain that you are able to spot somebody on the Marauders map, even if you are under the invisibility cloak, which is just another one of those moments where it's like the Marauders map might be a little bit too powerful, given the fact that the.
Oh, I know. This feels like that sentence was written before it was decided the cloak was a hallow or something.
I tend to agree.
Yeah.
That was my read on it as well.
Now
yeah.
you could have like the caveat of being that like the master of the invisibility cloak made the map.
There is always that
There's
caveat.
that.
Yeah.
So it's like, is there like, well, normally it wouldn't, but because this person made it,
He was involved.
He
We
was
had to
involved.
add like a special line of code.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that, I can give that light pass there. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. I won't lose sleep over that one.
Yeah.
This is also though where he reveals that you were accompanied by somebody else.
Yeah, and then-
Going through the passageway.
I know. Again, he says, "What? No, we weren't. Just I couldn't believe my eyes. How could he be with you?" Like, dude, guys, just say it.
No one was with us, said Harry.
Yes. Yeah. And they're like, now I feel like they're just messing with them. They're like, how long you want to do this?
Yeah.
How long you want to?
we got him on like hook, line, and
Yeah.
sinker right
Like,
now.
You just want to keep gaslighting him on this? Or?
Right.
I know. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. They're like making eye contact. Like, oh, they don't get it yet. Okay, hold on.
I honestly, in like the TV show remake, I would not hate that if in this moment like they're having like a special little like
Yeah.
like a
let's
little
mess
tiny
with them.
glint in their eye.
A little bit.
Yeah, you enjoying this? Me
Yeah,
too.
yeah, me too. It's like old times.
It was like old times.
Yeah. I saw him collide with you. Oh, watch as he pulled two of you into the Whomping Willow.
One of us.
like, nuh-uh.
Two of you.
Two of you. Yeah,
We're not even milking it. That's what it says.
I know, yeah.
On the
Those are the
page.
words.
Yeah.
of you.
Finally, though, he says, "Do you think I could have a look at the rat?" And then Ron's like, "What's Scabbers got to do with it?" To which, at this point, I'm almost like, "Ron, Scabbers might have something to do with it."
Yeah,
like,
come on, dude.
Read
Yeah.
the Shrieking Shack.
Read the Shrieking Shack, right? Yeah. Everything, said Lupin. Could I see him, please? He's being so polite.
Yes. Could I
Yeah.
see him, please?
Can I see him, please? Yeah. So let's see. And Ron is just like he doesn't have any idea what's going on here. And this is where they give them the big reveal. Like, that's not a rat. What do you mean? Of course he's a rat. No, he's not, said Lupin. He's a wizard, an animagus by the name of Peter Pettigrew. Dun, dun, dun.
Gasp.
Man. There we go.
Wow,
I
we
know.
did
Chills.
it.
We did it. There you go. It's a good thing they reminded, because I think even the first time I read this when I stole it as a kid, I was like, who is Peter Pettigrew? that reveal wasn't as big on me. I'm like, was he that kid from earlier?
Did they mention that?
They mention him?
I know,
Who?
yeah. This is
Yeah.
where we whenever we're theory writing, we have our search function of the entire book because we have the ebooks.
Yeah.
So it's like, hang on, when was Peter Pettigrew last mentioned? Oh yeah, look at that.
In this chapter.
He was brought up.
Yeah.
There we go. We got it. We got it.
Bam.
But yeah, so that is a heck of a cliffhanger,
Heck of a cliffhanger.
for chapter 17 and sets us up for chapter 18, Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs.
Ah,
Yeah.
Such a good one.
So this is the part of the show where we would normally see if Jay had a review. However, since we have some audience members handy, maybe you guys would be willing to give it to us. What do you think? How do we do? Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. That was awesome.
Do you want to close out for podcast reasons?
Oh, yeah, I can close out for...
You still have one thing left to do.
Yeah, I have one thing left to do here.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, so I think that is going to do it for this week here on Through the Griffin Door. But make sure you join us next week for Chapter 18, Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs on Through the Griffin Door. Bam. We did it.
Today's episode was edited by Ethan Edghill. Vaishon Brandon does our art. Catherine Stein is our production manager, and the show is hosted by me and Jonathan Carlin.